From Stanley Kubrick to Tobe Hooper and back again, there's no shortage of filmmakers who believe in doing whatever's necessary for that perfect take. Occasionally putting casts and crews through hell to make sure they've captured the performance they need, this whatever-it-takes approach can often border on cruelty and occasionally straight-up masochism. I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 dick moves filmmakers use to improve actors' performances. Number 8. Jay Baruchel's fear of roller coasters, Knocked Up. In Knocked Up's opening montage, Seth Rogen and co do everything from fighting with flaming boxing gloves to riding a roller coaster at Knott's Berry Farms. Unfortunately for actor Jay Baruchel though, he has a deathly fear of roller coasters and is prone to panic attacks. Knowing this, director Judd Apatow initially let Jay opt out of the scene, but when it came time to film, Apatow insisted the scene would be ruined without his participation. Not wanting to let anyone down, Jay strapped himself in. Those panicked shrieks and "I gotta get off" in the middle of the scene though, those are genuine. Number 7. Edward Norton really punches Brad Pitt in the head. Remember that bit in Fight Club when Tyler Durden shouts, "Hit me in the ear"? That was real. Ed Norton wasn't initially supposed to make contact, but beforehand, director David Fincher pulled Norton aside and told him to go ahead and hit Brad Pitt for real. If you watch closely, you can briefly see Norton crack a smile after witnessing his co-star's genuine reaction. I mean, who says you hit me in the ear anyway? Number 6. Sean Penn swaps guns in the middle of a scene. A crime drama from the mid-80s at close range features a heated scene between Christopher Walken and Sean Penn as father and son. Penn was supposed to pull a gun on his dear old dad and go off the rails, but after Walken apparently wasn't reacting enough, Penn ran off set and demanded the other gun. Considering how frantic he was being, it was somewhat believable in the moment that Sean had grabbed a real gun. Director James Foley decided to keep rolling though, as this new gun was then jammed in Christopher Walken's face. Turned out in the end it was still the same gun as before, but Christopher Walken didn't even know that. The take with him being genuinely nervous is the one they used in the film, and it's kind of ridiculous. Number 5. Alan Rickman falls earlier than planned. Hans Gruber's slow-motion fall from the top of Nakatomi Plaza is wonderful for many reasons, not the least of which is the look of surprise and terror on Alan Rickman's face. How does an actor achieve that mix of shock and terror? By getting dropped nearly 70 feet without knowing that it's gonna happen. In the director's commentary for Die Hard, director John McTiernan casually mentioned that he needed a look of genuine shock from Rickman. So instead of dropping him on the count of 3, he just did it on 2. Simple. Number 4. Michael Bay has his stars terrorize an innocent new actor. Bad Boys 2 was a damn fine movie, and I will hear no different, but events on set were less than stellar. In the scene where Martin Lawrence has to intimidate his daughter's date Reggie, Michael Bay apparently wanted an authentically scared reaction. Rather than script such a thing though, Bay literally just told Lawrence to be as much of a dick as possible to Reggie's Dennis Green. For extra fun, Bay didn't mention the fact that Will Smith would also be joining in, or that he'd be pulling a gun on the man. Sadly, if you do a quick search of Dennis Green, you'll find that Bad Boys 2 was the first and last movie he ever participated in. Number 3. I Dream of Jeannie forgets Jeannie was inside a prop. Wearing revealing pajamas and pretending to grant the wishes of all your male co-workers isn't exactly the greatest gig in the world, but what's even worse is being trapped in an oversized bottle while everyone else takes a 2-hour break. In an episode of I Dream of Jeannie, How to Marry an Astronaut, there's a scene where Jeannie's Barbara Eden is supposed to be trapped inside a champagne bottle, yelling for someone to get her out. To make it quote-unquote real, director Hal Cooper called lunch and left Eden inside, to the point where he wanted her to think that everyone had forgotten about her. They left the cameras rolling and then used that take. Because, you know, whatever it takes. Number 2. Cry better or we'll shoot your dog. While filming a scene for the movie Skippy, child actor Jackie Cooper wasn't able to weep convincingly. Director Norman Torog, who was also Cooper's uncle, then threatened to take Cooper's real-life dog to the pound. When that didn't work, he had a security guard actually take the dog out of sight and fire a gun, leaving Jackie to believe that his dog had been executed. The kid was now understandably hysterical, to the point where he began crying uncontrollably, yet the scene was filmed. Thankfully, Cooper was told his dog had survived shortly after, and he would even win an Academy Award for his performance. If you can find any moral in this story, then answers in the comments. Number 1. Francis Ford Coppola uses a real decapitated horse head in The Godfather. In a movie filled with iconic scenes, one that has endured the longest sees film mogul Jack Waltz waking up to find the head of his own prized horse under his sheets. There was a lot of outrage at the time amongst animal rights groups who demanded to know if the head was real. Sadly, it was. Apparently, director Francis Ford Coppola wasn't too fond of the mock-up they'd been using during rehearsals and decided to pull a bait and switch when it came to filming. He promptly ordered a real horse head from a dog food company, because apparently they had one lying around, and decided it would be best not to tell the actor John Marley. When Marley wakes up to find the horse head, his scream isn't exaggerated whatsoever. We're literally watching a guy who's come to work for a day on set, freaking out because a bloody, creepy, real-life horse head is staring him right in the face.